But they didn't want to lose me. So they brought me back to the store that I originally started as an employee. They brought me back as a manager. So I was an assistant manager, and then I became a manager. But it was a bigger store. So it was a bigger paycheck. So I was making more money than I was making as a GM. And I was bonusing every 9 weeks. And I was the only store that was bonusing, because none of my other counterparts were making money. I was making money month over month, week over week, day over day. My sales were doubling, tripling. But because the supervisor, that was the general manager when I was an employee, took over my area, the area where my store was. So he took over that entire area of stores. And he came into my store and he told me, I was appalled when I was told that you became a GM. You don't have the capacity, you don't have the understanding, and you don't have the education to be a GM. And he goes, I'm going to make it my mission. At the end of 30 days, you're either going to demote yourself or I'm going to demote you. So I quit. And God brought me back. I got a call from HR saying, hey, we know you quit. We gave you 2 weeks off. We realized that maybe we put you in that store too soon. So we want you to come back and we want you to be at this store, making them more money than you were making before. And I went back because God told me to go back. And I was now working for a man, helping him achieve his goals in the store. And guess what? It wasn't his goals I was trying to achieve. It was God's. God said, I want standing room only. You got it, Father. And I started working my service to the bone. I was running, taking care of people, running my store, running everything. Labor was fantastic. This store never made the kind of money it made when I became a manager. And I didn't work there as a manager. I only worked there as an employee and as a shift manager. But when I got the opportunity to work there as a manager, God told me what to do, how to do it. And the business came. Standing room only. Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Standing room only. I've been telling my boss, we're going to have standing room only. He's like, what? Standing room only. We've got a whole new set of drivers. Drivers that we now have to supply delivery orders for. So we've got to produce. We've got the numbers now. They're getting their training. They're good drivers, solid drivers. Before, we were struggling because the people that were in our store didn't want to work. They did enough to get paid. They didn't do enough to make the store move forward. Now, we've got people who are doing what they're supposed to do and going above to be able to push the store forward, push the sales forward. It's not for my glory, it's for God's glory. Why? I don't know. I don't understand, but I'm going to do what I'm told. I'm obedient that way. I ask questions when I'm baffled. I'm like, God, why are you having me do this? Like, I don't understand. And then he'll explain it to me. But not all of it. He'll give me a bit. Enough to, oh, okay. And then I go forward again. Sometimes I'm going into a situation blind and I have no idea what I'm going into. Like when I first started this job. I had no idea what I was going to be facing. I had no idea how many people were going to dislike me. Not just employees, customers. They weren't rude to me, but I could tell they didn't like me. They didn't like the way I presented myself. They didn't like the way I shined. So they stopped coming in. We have a couple, 2 pairs. A lady and a man with a dog, and a lady and a man who are, they deal with tarot cards and things like that. And this woman she tried to send witchcraft my way. And she looks like she's on death's door. Like literally she is rotting on the outside. And God showed me, oh, she's not just rotting on the outside, she's rotting on the inside. And I was like, she smells like death. I stay away from her. I do not talk to her. If I talk to her, I talk to her from far away. Her and the man she's with. I don't come near them. The other couple, their dog doesn't like the level of my voice. And God said, yeah, I know. Stay away from that dog. That dog is not for me. I'm like, okay. So I stay quiet. When they come in, I wave. I didn't like them. In the beginning, I didn't mind them. But they too didn't like me. But they've had to either get used to the idea of seeing me and dealing with it and coming to God's understanding, or have the same situation that this woman is having. I mean, she is literally rotting. She's decaying in front of my eyes. And I'm just like, Father? Because I tried to pray for her and God's like, no. I'm like, why not? He said, nope. That's not your job. I'm like, okay. And he goes, and don't get near her. There was one time they had left and I was cleaning the table. I could still smell her breath, her death breath. It was just, it made me want to throw up. I was like, is there like an air freshener or something? Because oh my gosh, Father, that was disgusting. And he goes, yeah, that's how I feel. She's disgusting to me. I'm like, I'm sorry, Father. I feel his pain. I feel his sadness whenever he loses a child. Because I know deep down inside, even though this woman is doing things that are against God, walking in a path that is not of God, I know it still hurts him. Because that's one soul he couldn't come back to him. He's not an unfeeling God. He cares about us. He loves us. But he also will subject his children to judgment. He loves all of his creations, his angels, his animals, his earths, his world, his universe, his everything. But he is not against not judging them. For when the time comes, the judgment will appear. And everyone will see. So here I am on my day off. I was laying in bed. It was around 9 o'clock, 9:30. And I didn't want to get up. And God goes, well, just lay in bed for a little bit. I'm like, okay. And then I know I've got all these things I've got to get done. I've got to go do laundry. God wants me to go get my nails done. And he wants me to go do this. And he wants me to go do that. And I'm like, God, can I play hooky and just have fun? And he goes, isn't getting your nails done? And I'm like, yes, but I don't know. And he goes, we'll get them done. You'll go later today. It's okay. So gotta go do that. I'm gonna get my eyebrows done because they're looking a little fuzzy. You can't see it, but they're growing in a little bit. So I gotta get them trimmed up. And today I'm just reflecting on everything. I woke up so tired because today is my first real day off. I had Wednesday off, but I had to go back to work on Thursday. And because the manager gave me 3 days off, he gave me hours to make sure that I got my hours. And when I told him that I only needed 33 hours, he goes, why only 33? And I said, well, because you gave me overtime last week. And I said, and the overtime and the hours that I make this week are going to offset. And he just looked at me and he goes, but that was last week. And I said, I understand. But because tax thing, okay, because I made 40 hours last week and I made 33 this week, that means I only made 73 hours for between the 2 weeks, okay? That 5 hours of overtime, my pay is only going to come in at a certain level, okay? Right here. That overtime put me here, but I'm still lower than the bracket. That is the offset I was talking about. He wasn't thinking taxes. He was thinking hours, money. I don't want to hit the next bracket because the next bracket's going to take twice as much taxes out of my check. I know enough, and I understand tax law enough that if I offset it by reducing my hours for this week, then I'm not going to be taxed at the same rate as the next bracket. I'm going to stay within my bracket. God, for such a time as this. Oh, man. So God had me open my Bible. Until this moment, I hadn't really read what chapter he had me open into. So I'm in Jeremiah. Chapter 51. And he opened me up to Babylon's time of harvest. And it's talking about Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. So this is talking about what Nebuchadnezzar did to the people of God. And then it talks about delivering ourselves out of the anger of God. And how do we deliver ourselves out of the anger of God? We return to God. We praise God. We thank God. Full circle moments. I'm praising God right now because I know he's going to come through for me this weekend. I don't know how and I don't know what. I don't know what he's going to bring to me. But I am expecting something big. I am. I'm expecting something big. That's why he has me on here, because he wants me to put I don't want to say it like that. He wants me to put him to the test. He said, put me to the test. And I'm like, no, but you test me. I don't want to test you. And he goes, why not? We have conversations without having to speak, because that's how God talks sometimes. So I will have news by next week of what he did this weekend. Right? You're going to do it? You're going to come through in a big way? I don't know what he's going to give me or what he's going to bring to me, but he's going to bring something. Because he had me mark the date, 4/27, and he just had me underline it. Oh, I didn't tell you the date on the water jugs. It's 10/27. Oh yeah, I did. 24. That was the date that the water was going to go stale. 10/24, 10/27/24. Full circle on the 27th. 10 equals full circle. Which is also God's order. "27" equals 9 if you add the two together. I'm ending in full circle. But oh my. So 27. And he goes, wait, isn't that a Bible verse? And I'm like, where? And he goes, right there. And it's the only verse 27 on the page. Like sometimes when you open a chapter, you have two different chapters in that same page, or those two pages. In this chapter 51, there's no other chapters. And the verse is verse 27, and it's the rod of God's inheritance. And he says, set up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet. Our voices are the trumpets. Among the nations, prepare the nations against her. Call together against her the kingdoms of Ararat, Mini, and Ashkenaz. Appoint a captain against her. Cause the horses to come up as the rough caterpillars. And he wants me to keep reading. Prepare against her the nations with the kings of Medes, the captains thereof, and the rulers thereof, and all of the land of his dominion. And the land shall tremble and sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without inhabitants. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holds. Their might hath failed. They became as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. One post shall run to meet another, and one messenger to meet another, to show the king of Babylon that the city has taken that his city is taken at one end, and that the passages are stopped, and the reeds they have burned with fire, and the men of war are affrighted. And he's bringing me back to the beginning of the section that's labeled the rod of God's inheritance. which is verse 19. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. You are my battle axe and weapons of war, for you will break in pieces the nation, and with you I will destroy kingdoms. There have been rumors of wars. There have been rumors this year of wars. There will be more rumors of wars next year. Remember your scripture. Remember the things that God said will come. This is full circle. I got sick in 2018 before COVID hit, before COVID was a thing. It didn't come here until March. I remember because I was going on vacation on March 6th. And the week before, the last week of April, or the last week of February, going backwards, the last week of February, there was an announcement by President Trump stating that he wanted to close the borders. He wanted to stop flights back in January, and they wouldn't allow him. They told him he was crazy. Because they didn't stop the flights, because they didn't stop the things that were coming through by ground, the sickness arrived here. And March 6th, the company that I worked for at the time gave the order for everyone to work from home and close the offices. When I got sick in December, I thought I was going to die. And it took till the end of April for the cough to go away. I have been sounding like this for almost 2 months now. And I asked God, I'm like, why am I still sick? Why am I still battling this? Because today is my full circle moment. I was reading back through my journals that I had written over the last few years. In one of the journals, I wrote that God sent me to Arizona on the 29th. It was a Saturday. And I was supposed to go back Sunday because I worked Monday. Instead, I went back Monday. I tried to go back Monday. And God brought a traffic jam to turn me around. So I had to come back. And I had to call my boss, and I had texted my boss, and I told her that I wasn't coming in because I couldn't make it. On Wednesday, I sent a note to this woman, Sylvia, that I was supposed to go help, telling her I couldn't make it because God said you can't make it. That's the day that he had me remember, or he had me looking for something else, and I found that date. And because I was obedient and I found that date, I also found, because I had been asking him for a bookmarker, and I had bought one in California, or they give them out for free at Barnes & Noble. And I had gone to Barnes & Noble to buy my Bible. And I picked one up. I had like 3, but only one survived. The others, I don't know where they went. Viva la France. This was in Paris. God's been showing me I'm going to Paris. I'm wondering sometimes if my family isn't from Paris. Like my mom's family. I still don't know who she is. Maybe one day, God will show me. God will reveal to me who she is. And for those of you who go, how does she know that she's not related to this woman? God will leave you with people that don't treat you right and still are family. Do you know when the woman found out my blood type? The woman who raised me? The day I got pregnant. I found out from the doctor that my blood type was O negative. And because of my blood type, not necessarily the O part, it was the negative part, the Rh factor, that's what it's called, is negative. My ex-husband had B positive because he had a positive Rh factor and I had a negative Rh factor. They didn't go together. They fought each other. And the doctor said it's not a problem if your child has the same blood type as you. It's a problem when your child doesn't have the same blood type as you because your body will then treat the child like an illness, a foreign entity, and will try to remove it from your body. That's why I asked God to stop me from having children with this man, because his blood type and my blood type didn't go together. And all three of my children have their dad's blood type, B positive. So when I went home and I told this woman what the doctor said, she goes, wait, what? What's your blood type? O negative. Without even realizing she was saying these words out loud, she goes, but your dad was A positive. That can't be your blood type. And I said, because I know her blood type's O positive. And O positive and A positive do not make O negative. I know, I researched it. Like I said, I'm a geek. I'm a science geek, I'm a history geek, I'm a math geek. Pretty much anything that the world deems Einsteinish, that's me. So I knew enough. And because of the treatment that I received, and the small words here and there, the fact that she can't ever remember my birthday without being reminded. My dad, the man I call dad, never forgot my birthday. And he's not my dad either. But he never forgot my birthday. He always knew when my birthday was. I don't know if he remembered my brothers and my sister, but he knew mine. How did he know mine? Because it was an important day in his life when he was given the responsibility of caring for me and raising me as a daughter. His brother trusted him. And because his brother trusted him with his daughter, my dad did whatever his brother asked. Because my dad couldn't have children. He was impotent. Or not impotent, sterile. He was sterile. That was what the woman didn't know. Because God never shared it with her. Had she asked God about it, he would have told her. He's sterile. He can't have kids. That's why he chose her. Because at the time, she didn't want kids. But out of anger, jealousy, viciousness, she seduced his brother. Now, he could have kids. And he gave her 3 of them because she laid with him 3 times. She seduced him 3 times. After the 3rd time, his wife said, enough. You want that woman? Then you stay with her. I'm done. But this woman, his wife, the wife of my uncle, that was his God-ordained wife. She was the one that was going to be his forever. But she could not forgive him. My family is prophetic in nature by their actions, by their lifestyles. I don't have to prophesy. I just have to live my life. And it's a prophecy all of in its own. There is so much that I have to still write in my book. So much, and God is telling me right now that it can wait. It can wait. Because the amount of exertion that I have to produce in order to successfully get through a day, it's exhausting. When I get home, I'm exhausted. I don't want to do anything. I just want to sit here and watch the wall, the paint dry on the wall. But there's no fresh paint, so I just watch the wall. And God's like, grab the computer. Let's watch a movie. I don't even have the energy for that. And he knows. He knows I don't have the energy. But he's pushing me, and I'm trying so hard. And because I keep getting pushed, and I'm trying hard to get through what he's telling me to get through, I feel like a pregnant woman who's about to give birth, who needs to get up to do stuff, and I can't. Because I don't have the energy. I don't have the strength. And I'm asking God, give me the energy, give me the strength, because I don't have it. I need you to help me through this. I need you to bring me through this. I need you to push me forward. Because I can't do it anymore on my own. This is what weakness looks like. I'm not even holding myself up anymore. I'm just letting myself, I've got my hands on my legs. I can't even sit up anymore. That's how tired I am. If God gave me permission, I'd go crawl back in bed and lay down. Why? Because that's how tired I am. I am exhausted. Someone else feels as exhausted as I